I am Dr. Mark Leonard, the happiness dude, founder of the Happiness Breakthrough. And wow, can you believe it? Here we are at the end of a decade. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's hard to believe how far we've come. I I was recently driving on a longer than usual commute for me. And as I was driving, I got to the end of it and I had my family with me. And one of my daughters turned and said, "Wow, we got home really fast. It seems like we got home faster than we got to our destination." And I was really thinking about that there's something about that hindsight. There's something about looking back and going, wow, that was a really interesting trip or a really interesting year. But have you taken the time to look back and really compare where you were 10 years ago? Now, there's a big fad right now of people going onto Facebook and they're posting what they look like in 2009 and what they look like in 2019. And I think the reflection of what you look like is good, but I'm more interested in where have you grown in the last 10 years? I bet you started 2010 with this goal, this dream, this idea of where you're going to go. And as you look back, you think, wow, I'm not where I expected to be. I can look back on my own journey. And, I started this new decade starting off with my doctoral program at Pepperdine University. I got a doctorate in organizational leadership. My goal was I'm going to go be a professor at a major university. I even had some of my big universities lined up where I wanted to go. But there was something happened along that journey where I realized that was not where I was supposed to be. Now, I still teach locally at a university. And for those of my students that are on here right now, I'm excited to see you. And I am excited for every new term, but every new term, every new year, every new decade brings a new opportunity. And here we are 36 days away from the end of a decade and the beginning of a new one. And have you asked yourself, this is a new decade, have you asked yourself who you want to be? I bet many of you have put together these ideas. Oh, I want to go on a trip, or I want to go do this, or I want to launch that. But have you asked yourself, who do you want to be? What is your dream of what you want to be as a person? What do you want your relationships to look like? If you're married, and my wife and I, we've been married 28 years. We've been together several decades, right? We're getting ready to start our third decade pretty soon. And I ask myself, and I've been pondering this yesterday and today, who do I want to be as a husband? If I was to write out how I want to show up on my marriage, right? Am I showing up that way today? And I can look for areas where I've done really well, and I can see areas where I can improve. See, dreams should excite different types of emotions. Now, as a happiness dude, and when you see me on stage, I'm a very energetic presence, right? I've got a lot of vitality in me, but some of my deeper dreams draw me to tears. And it's that same emotion, it's just shown differently. Do your dreams of who you want to be excite that emotion in you? Do you ask yourself, who do I want to be for my children? Will they look at you as $1 million earner? Or will they see you as $1 million dad or mom? Will they see you and say, that is where real value is? Will they see that your value is more than just your earning potential? And if not, I'm going to tell you right now, stop. I want you to stop today, and I want you to figure out, what does $1 million husband, mother, father, wife, brother, sister, spouse look like? What does $1 million person feel like? Because at the end of this life, you can't take the money with you. And we've all said that. But have you ever done the next step? Have you ever looked to, what does that look like for me? If I was to be $1 million husband, how would I show up in this next decade? If I was to be $1 million grandparent, how would I show up in my grandchildren's lives? Ask yourself another area. What does the new decade mean for your own personal health? What is something that you need to stop, or maybe you could start doing? What is something that you could do to change your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health? Are you stepping up to every single day with mental vitality, with a vivaciousness, with an excitement and ability to focus? Or do you feel foggy? And if you feel foggy, what do you need to stop doing? Are you showing up to this next decade with how you want to give in the community? If you were to write your dream for the next decade, are you keeping it to yourself? Or are you spreading joy and love? Are you spreading help and service? Are you spreading an opportunity to be a servant? For there is one great servant, and he has shown us the way. Are you showing up in your day that way? Are you going to show up to this next decade with an excitement for what you want to build? What is the legacy that you want to leave? Legacies. You don't hear at a funeral, so-and-so built the most amazing stock portfolio, but you will hear how they showed up as a boss. You will hear stories of how they impacted lives. Is your 2020 going to be shaped like that? I keep holding and touching my heart as I say these things. I'm realizing it's because 2020 should come from the heart. Don't let it come from the pocketbook. Don't let it come from social media. Don't let it come from what you think other people want of you. Let 2020 come from your heart of who you want to be and how you want to give in this world. Let 2020 resonate so deeply in you that when the alarm rings in the morning, you wake up and you say, I've got this. Let the next decade start today. Whenever it is that you're seeing this, hearing this, or reading this, I want that next decade for you to start today. Not on January 1st, 2020, not on January 1st of the next year, not on the first day of the next month, but today. I want the best decade of your life to start today. Who do you want to be today for the next 10 years? How do you want to treat the person at Target in this Christmas shopping season? Are you going to be walking through Costco with a vengeance and a cart full of things? Or are you going to walk through Costco with a heart filled with love and appreciation for everyone around you? I just want to challenge you this day to start stepping into your next day, your next decade, your next best self. Because if you can do that, if you can truly be the best today, and even if you're not perfect at it, you could practice it today. Practice living the best of who you are. And if you do that, you will not just make the next decade the best, you will make your life the best.